Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I continue to bring you the story of the love between Hoai Ca and Hùng. This story does not begin with anything grand, but starts from the smallest changes, in a time when both of their lives are gradually shifting. No longer the peaceful days like before, no longer the quiet afternoons gently passing by, but instead, there are decisions, choices, and pressures, slowly becoming clearer. Hùng, after many years of working in a stable job, with an income just enough to maintain life, he begins to realize that stability is no longer enough, not because he is ambitious, but because he understands life always needs to move forward. If he keeps standing still, everything will eventually be left behind. That thought first was just a passing idea, but over time, it becomes clearer, and then he decides to act. Hùng starts investing with a friend to build a wood workshop, a new step, a completely different path from what he was used to. No longer a routine job, no longer fixed numbers, but a journey full of risks, yet also full of hope. Not stopping there, in his mind, he is also nurturing another plan, an artificial football field, a long-term business model, a direction he believes will help stabilize their lives in the future. But life has never been a smooth road. Right from the beginning, difficulties start to appear, from complicated land procedures, legal documents that need to be completed, to regulations he has never faced before. All of it becomes a challenge. Not only that, financial pressure begins to weigh heavily. The investment capital, unexpected expenses, the need to borrow money. Every number is not small. Hùng, no matter how strong he is, cannot avoid moments of exhaustion, but he does not stop. Day after day, he throws himself into work, from early morning until late at night. No time to rest, no more relaxed moments like before, only effort remains. Because he knows, if he does not try, everything he is building will become meaningless. If he does not move forward, the future will never change. And while Hùng is pouring all his energy into his plans, Hoai is facing a different turning point. Not about money, not about work, but one that affects her entire life. After more than 20 years, living with absence, with unanswered questions, with emptiness she could not even name, Hoai finally has found her biological family. Something she once only dared to imagine. In her weakest moments, long nights, when everything became silent, when no one was beside her, she used to wonder where her family was, whether they still remembered her. Now, the answer has appeared. That happiness is not something that can be described in words, not a fleeting emotion, but a fulfillment after so many years of absence. But along with that happiness comes something else, feeling not light at all, a conflict. Because behind Hoai is not only the past, but also the present. A small home where she has grown familiar, where she has been attached, not by blood, but by love. A man who has always been by her side, without many words, but always quietly present in every moment. And the memories collected over the years, not loud, not showy, but deep enough to never easily let go. The day Hoai Ca's biological mother came, the atmosphere in the small house seemed to slow down. No loud words, no rushed reactions, only silence surrounding everything. That mother did not blame, did not ask too many questions, did not bring up the past. She simply stood there, looking at her daughter with eyes filled with emotion, as if just looking, was enough. As if, in that moment, all the years of separation became clear. She expressed her wish for Hoai Ca to return. Not a demand, not a force, but a desire, very gentle, yet very deep. She even prepared a separate house, a private space, so that Hoai Ca could feel more comfortable if she could not immediately adapt to the larger family. Every word was unhurried. Every sentence carried sincerity, and deep within was a sense of regret that perhaps only a mother could truly understand. I heard everything, but could not answer right away. She did not refuse, but did not agree either. But she understood, this decision is not simple. She looked at Hung, not to find an answer for herself, but to find something else, a sense of understanding, a shared feeling, a glance that could help her know which path to take next. And in that moment, everything seemed to fall silent, because both of them understood, no matter what choice is made, life will never be the same again. But Hung was the one who made Hoai Ca feel the most conflicted. Not because he stopped her, not because he blamed her, nor because he tried to keep her by his side. But on the contrary, it was his silence, the way he chose to step back, that made everything feel heavier. Hung did not say much. He did not set any conditions. He did not ask how long she would be gone, nor did he ask whether she would return. He simply, gently advised her to go back to her family. Sentence that seemed simple on the surface, but carried so much behind it. As he understood, there are opportunities in life that only come once. There are relationships that, if missed, can never be restored. He understood the feeling of standing before a choice, where no matter which side you choose, there will be regret. And because he understood, he did not want to become the reason that made her hesitate. Hung chose to step back, not because he was weak, but because he was strong enough to accept that there are things that cannot be kept by holding on, to accept that if something truly matters, then even if it goes far away, it will find its way back. And in the days that followed, their lives continued. Everything on the outside did not change much. Hung still went to work as usual, still woke up early, still stayed busy with familiar tasks. In the mornings, he and Hoai Ca went to the garden together, watching the corn growing day by day, taking care of each plant, each piece of land. In the afternoons, they took care of the chickens together, feeding them, cleaning, doing small things, but consistently. Their meals remained the same. Nothing elaborate, nothing special, yet still warm. Their conversations still happen, but not as much as before. The laughter was still there, but seemed softer, because deep inside each of them, they both understood. They understood that this peace might not last. They understood that a decision was coming very close. No one mentioned it. No one asked. But both of them knew. They just had not said it out loud yet. The silences became more frequent. Their glances became deeper. No words were needed, yet it was enough to understand what the other was thinking. And then, after all those silent days, the thing they both knew finally happened. After many nights without complete sleep, after moments of sitting alone, thinking for a long time, not rushed, not impulsive, I made her decision, a decision that even she knew would change many things. She chose to return to her family, not because she forgot the present, Not because she wanted to leave, but because there were things she needed to face. There were relationships she needed to find again. There were empty spaces she wanted to fill. And the day she said it, there were no tears, no anger, no argument at all. Only a silence surrounding everything. A silence so long that one could clearly feel their own heartbeat. Hoai Ca spoke gently, without trembling, without hesitation, yet not easy at all. Hùng listened, without interrupting, without asking more, just silent. And then he nodded, a very slight nod, so light that if one did not notice, could be missed, yet so heavy that it could not be put into words. In that nod was not only agreement, but also acceptance. Acceptance that, not by keeping her beside him, but by letting her choose freely. And even if that choice meant he had to step back, he still accepted it. Because to him, love is not about holding tightly, but about trusting enough to let go when necessary. And the story is still not over here. Not long after that, the decision was no longer just words, but turned into action. Hoai left the small house. Not a rushed departure, not a sudden impulse, but a step that had been carefully thought through for a long time. She packed everything, gently, neatly, just the way she had always handled her life. There were not many belongings, but each one carried a memory. A corner of the house, a table, chair, every small detail made her steps slow down. But in the end, she still walked away. She took her son Tony with her, not just bringing along a loved one, but carrying a part of her life. A new journey began. Not loud, not showy, but enough to change everything. The new house was quickly built. No longer a cramped space, no more old walls, no more of the shortages from before. Everything became more complete, more spacious, more comfortable. Every detail in the house was carefully prepared. Every small corner carried thoughtful care. It was not just about building a place to live, but more like trying to make up for something. Making up for the years that had been lost. Making up for the hardships Hoai Ca had once endured. In that place, Hoai began a different life. A life more stable. No longer the small daily worries, no more silent pressures, but instead, a sense of fullness. With family by her side. With meals that felt more complete. With questions of care, with concern, spoken more often. And more importantly, feeling of belonging. No longer an emptiness, no longer unanswered questions, but a clear presence. Place she could finally name. Days passed, more gently, but deep within, there were still quiet moments that even she could not put into words. As for Hùng, he stayed behind, stayed in the old house, a place where everything seemed the same, small, worn, unchanged. But the feeling inside was different. That space, once familiar, once warm, once a place filled with their laughter, evenings spent together, small conversations, not needing much content, yet still enough to feel close. Now, all of it had become memories. Beside Hùng was little Duc, presence that kept the house from feeling completely empty, but still not enough to fill the spaces that had appeared. Evenings were no longer complete. No more familiar sounds. No more laughter that once came so naturally. Only silence remained. A silence, not because of the lack of sound, but because of the absence of someone. Empty spaces, invisible, yet deeply felt. In every corner of the house, in every moment. Even so, Hùng did not regret. He did not ask himself where he had gone wrong. He did not regret not holding her back, because he knew his decision was not letting go, but a choice. Choice for the happiness of the person he loved. And to him, that was enough. Even if he had to stay, even if he had to face the emptiness, he still accepted it, because he understood love is not always about being together, but sometimes about accepting distance, so that the other person can live more fully. The story, this point, seemed to have come to an end, like a quiet ending, not dramatic, but filled with emotion. However, in truth, this is not a stopping point, but only a beginning, a new phase, with new challenges. Will this distance slowly pull them apart? Or will the days apart help them understand each other's value more deeply? Will time fade their feelings or make them stronger? Everything still lies ahead, and the story is still continuing. Stay tuned for the next episode to follow what will happen next.
Xin chào mọi người, lại là mình đây. Thì rất vui được gặp lại mọi người trong video hôm nay. Bây giờ thì hôm nay thì mình không có làm video thì đến buổi tối mà mình làm video lên buổi sáng đó mọi người. Bây giờ ở chỗ mình thì đang là trời tối đây, thì bây giờ mình đang làm video. Thì tầm sáng ngày mai mình sẽ lên video vào ngày 24 nha. Cảm ơn mọi người, hy vọng rằng mọi người sẽ yêu quý và ủng hộ cho kênh của mình nhiều hơn. Hiện tại thì mình đang có like một video trên kênh rồi, nên là mình sẽ lên video này vào buổi tối, xin lỗi, vào buổi sáng ngày mai. Hy vọng rằng là video này sẽ có thể giúp cho mọi người một phần nào đó khuây khỏa sau những giờ làm việc mệt mỏi, và vui hơn, cũng như là có thể tìm ra được ý nghĩa của cuộc sống hơn thông qua câu chuyện này. Cảm ơn mọi người rất nhiều. Hẹn gặp lại mọi người trong những video tiếp theo.